Welcome back to the channel, folks. Here we have my buddy's 98 NSX. He wants me to install some extended studs on the car. Reason being, he wants to run a spacer up front, but wants to be extra cautious and not run it without running extended studs. So originally we were gonna put ARP studs on here, but after looking at his super sick wheel setup, he's got these super nice work wheels. So if we install ARP, they're definitely going to extend past this this cover here. So I suggested to him we install some OEM option extended studs. So you can use extended studs from an Acura TL, I believe 96 to 98. Or there's another option that my buddy Kenny Bowie found. I'll go over it in the next couple slides here. But anyhow, so we're going to do that. That way he can still run these wheels without having to run ARP studs and not run this. That would look kind of goofy. So first things first, remove the front caliper. There's two 17 bolts hiding back here. And then we're going to remove speed sensor bracket. It's like I think 210s or so. And then remove the rotor. And then we're going to remove the wheel hub and wheel bearing assembly. Stay tuned. So once you're at this point, you're going to go ahead and remove the wheel hub and wheel bearing assembly. There's 14 millimeter bolts. 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're right back here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, oh yeah, we gotta remove the speed sensor here. So we'll do that now. Alright, so once you removed all 4 of these 14 millimeter bolts here, should come right out. And this is the wheel bearing and wheel hub assembly. All right, so let's get down to business. Here's where the fun part comes in. So my buddy wanted just extended studs installed. Typically, I do recommend replacing the wheel bearing while you're at it, simply because usually they go bad after so many miles. Another factor is location of the vehicle. So if it's mainly East Coast car or Florida, like sees a lot of humidity and inclement weather, typically the wheel bearings go out much more quickly than normal. The good thing about this car, it's a California car, all its life, garage kept, super low mileage. So in that case, the wheel bearings are more than likely have plenty of life left. So we're gonna install extended studs, but we're not going to disassemble the wheel bearing from here, which would make this install actually a lot easier, but no big deal. Definitely going to show you guys how I remove these without cutting up the wheel bearing. So yeah, let's go ahead and take these studs off. So if you guys have been following the channel for a while now, you'll know I really enjoy using my 23-piece power built, ball joint separator kit, I believe it's called. So for these stud removal and pressing them in, we're only going to use this. I do have a press in my workshop, but I want to kind of be as efficient as possible and use the least amount of things I have, just to make it a little more accessible for DIY, garage guys at home. I also have a set of these Harbor Freight impact tools. So I use this 27 millimeter for a couple of other, I use it as a press tool, pretty much, press cylinder. And this is going to work perfect for pressing the wheel studs in. So definitely want to pick up one of these kits here. And then in addition to this kit, you'll also want to have a grinder just to take off the studs once we press them out. One thing to note, I know it's pretty popular to just get a sledgehammer and just have at it and force the wheel studs out, which theoretically, I mean, yeah, it works, but like I said, we're working on a super low mileage NSX here. We're not trying to ruin any other components. So if you take a sledgehammer and force these out, chances are you will actually mess up the wheel bearings inside of here. You may not see it when you're doing it, but you're definitely causing stress inside of the wheel bearing assembly every time you take a sledgehammer and hack away at the wheel studs. So what I'm gonna do is use this guy here to press out the wheel studs. I'll go ahead and show you my setup here shortly. Definitely a good idea to not use a sledgehammer to get these out or try to force them. I've had a couple buddies that did that, and then shortly after they had wheel bearing failure. So typically it's not a coincidence, but anyhow, let's show you guys the setup here. Alrighty folks, so we're just about ready to press out all 5 of these wheel studs. The tools that I'm going to be using, the Power Built 23-piece separator. I'm going to use this guy that comes in the kit. So we're going to use this cup here. It's going to go right over the wheel stud. Plenty of room in here for the stud to come out. And then we're going to use a sacrificial lug nut just to put on the end of the wheel stud, just so that we have a lot more surface area for the tool to sort of hug onto when we're pressing this out. So let's give it a go here. Alrighty. Just like that, wheel studs off. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this all around, and we'll resume here shortly. Alrighty guys, so now we're at the stage where all the wheel bolts are free. So at this point, some guys like to shave a little bit off of the corner on the wheel bolt head and just slide it out. I mean, we could do that, but that takes a little bit more time versus just grinding these off straight through the middle and just tossing them away. Wheel bolts are wear items. Once you press these out, the knurling is compromised, so these can't be reused. Wheel bolts are definitely an overlooked wear item on a lot of cars, so yeah, they're gonna get tossed anyway, so I'm just gonna cut straight through these guys and throw them away. Alrighty, so safety disclaimer, I do have ear protection on as well as eye protection, so yeah, we're ready to give her. So one of the positives of going with these OE style extended studs is the head on these wheel studs It's pretty slim, much more slim than the OEM NSX wheel stud head. So these ones, you don't have to grind the edge of this if you want to put them in your wheel bearing, wheel hub assembly, if you don't want to take off the wheel bearing. So these will slide right in. I did leave them in the freezer. Should have put them in overnight, but I didn't know I was going to be installing these. Like I said, my buddy was going to use ARP, but then I suggested these, and I happen to have a set of these in my toolbox. So here we are. I put them in the freezer for maybe about like 2 hours. So simple, easy enough. You're gonna just there should be a sweet spot on the wheel bearing wheel hub assembly somewhere where it just presses or slide. It'll slide right in without any effort at all. Let's see if this is it right here. Yep, that's it. So this little crevice right here, we're gonna just rotate the wheel hub until we get all of them in, like so. Shout out to Kenny B, man. That guy, he found this little wheel stud alternative, and yeah, it works very nicely. So yeah. Alrighty, so here's our press-in assembly. We're going to use a 27mm Harbor Freight impact socket. So we're going to use this as leverage for the stud to go into. And then using this, we'll just use one of the edges to hold or to press from the wheel bolt head. There we go. And I do have ear protection on. Oh boy, what a fail. So that last clip, my battery died, and it kind of threw a wrench in my plans for the day because I wasn't able to record the rears. But the good thing is the rears are literally identical to the front. There's a few differences, but honestly, the rear is pretty much the same as the front. The only thing is you'll need a 36mm socket to pull the axle nut off, and everything else is basically the same. Anyhow, so yeah, so the last probably like 15 seconds of that last clip, if you'll go back, you'll notice the wheel stud's going in, and it's pretty much all the way in initially, and then I back it out, and then I reposition the U-joint, the press, and then so basically what I did was I pressed down on the other half of the wheel stud head. So initially it's going in, and one thing I do have to mention is that on these Dorman 610 323 studs, the knurling is a little bit thicker than the OEM. So the knurling is 12.6 millimeters in diameter. OEM NSX is 12.2. So yeah, so it will require a little bit more force to press in, and also since we're not using a press, it's not on a flat surface. So yeah, the tool that we're using here in the video, you do have to press in pretty much, I guess you could say, like, imagine the wheel stud head having like two halves. So you press in from one half and then back it out and then press in from the other half. That way you don't have like a lopsided wheel stud. So anyways, make sure you do that. Here's a little diagram I put together of the length differences between various wheel studs. So of course, these are all for Honda, so these are all, of course, 12 by 1.5 thread pitch. All the knurlings are 12.2 millimeters, with the exception of the Dorman 610-323. That knurling is 12.6 millimeter. So yeah. Again, I apologize for not being able to record the rears being done. My battery just took forever to charge, and then finally when it did, I just wanted to knock this out and get it done. It's getting kind of late in the day. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comments. I do offer this service and other services for local NSX owners. And if you're not local, you can send me your parts, and I can do the service for you guys. Yeah. Till next time.